Hola, hola, hola.
Hola.
¿Esto no? Sí. Hola. Bueno, qué jornada hoy, ¿eh? Así que muchísimas gracias a todos los que siguen aguantando, pero bueno, después encima sigue la fiesta, o sea que, no sé, mañana tenemos que continuar con la tarea. Para los que acaban de llegar, para los que se suman, esta actividad forma parte del 10º encuentro BID de enseñanza y diseño y cerramos la jornada con la visita del diseñador belga Lionel Jadot, que estará en diálogo con el diseñador español Joel Blanco. Cerramos hoy esta charla, continuaremos mañana con los diálogos inspiradores y con los laboratorios. Yo a Joel lo conocemos porque es un diseñador que vive entre Galicia y Madrid, con una actitud bastante disruptiva, su mirada con respecto al diseño, y nos pareció que era el interlocutor adecuado para conversar con Lionel Jadot, que es un diseñador que, hablábamos recién, me dice, yo no tengo escuela, yo no fui a la universidad, o algo así, a ver qué nos va a contar. Lo conocí entrevistándolo en Bruselas y en su atelier Saventem, una experiencia maravillosa, y espero que os inspire a todos vosotros también. Bienvenido, welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Joel Blanco and I am here to introduce Lionel Jadot. I wrote something before coming here, but we were speaking before just arriving, and I think I needed to change almost everything for the better. Lionel is one of those designers that is self-taught, and he taught himself to see leftovers not as trash but as source material. And he learned himself how to make them to go together in a seamlessly way, which is aesthetically pleasing. And to become a designer that can make, rather than a stool, to make later on a hotel. Thanks to his collaboration with the people with Saventem, which is the atelier that he found, with 25 artists, if I'm not mistaken, they make rather bigger projects now. So I will not bother you anymore with my words, and I would like to welcome Lionel, and let's see his work. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. So I'm very happy to be there. So thank you for inviting me to talk a bit about what I'm doing. So I'm going to try to explain you where I come, why I'm doing this, and where I try to go. In fact, to start my story, I was born in a factory. In my family, we produce and we create furniture like chairs, sofas since 5 generations. So it's an old factory in Belgium, and it was really my playground. So I was living there. I was the workshop was down there, our apartment. So it was a huge workshop with like 25 craftsmanship. So for me, it's given me a lot in terms of knowledge, and then to learn about the material, the wood, the metal, the fabrics, and everything. So it's really drive me in a special world about looking how to do, how to make, why to make. And so the life make me start something differently. So I never go really to school. So I start working at the age of 18. After my mother died, my father wanted to stop everything. So I decided to continue the workshop. And then I was alone with 25 craftsmen. And so together we tried to push the limit. And in the meantime, I'm starting designing for clients like a little house, a kitchen, everything. In the same time, I'm driving the workshop. So in fact, I learned also before that because I was playing in the workshop, and I'm gonna show you some images to illustrate what I'm saying. What am I supposed to do? Like this? No, the other way? Ah, yes, okay. So this is my name, so you know. So this is the little sketch about a little stool, because sometimes when I have an interview, I talk with people or maybe with new clients, they ask me what I'm doing, who I am. I say I'm just a stool maker, because it's the only thing I really learn. The rest I just try to improvise everything. So the place I was born looked like this a little bit. This is my grandfather behind. So it's a like 5,000 square meters workshop. It's full with wood, full with carcass of sofas and chairs and everything. So it's really for a kid like a huge playground that you can just spend hours to start building castle, start building little hut. And it's what I continue to do every day, like already know. So this is a nice picture I love because this is maybe in 1965 because in the workshop there is a little space to make the shooting, and on the right side you can see my father appear in the image because it was like a Polaroid, and he just entered the frame and then he go back. It looked like a little bit like a ghost. And then I like the atmosphere because this atmosphere is really look like what I'm doing, with a little bit messy because it's totally chaotic the way I'm working, because I have no process, in fact. I try. So those images explain a little bit more about the way I'm working, because what I'm doing, I was playing all the time in the workshop, collecting piece of wood, piece of metal, and when I come back from school, it's really like my treasure. So it's some element like this I found. And then after, I find leather also, piece of fabrics. And then I made my first stool at the age of 7. So it's really starting for me because I start building the stool with leftover of wood, leftover of fabrics. And this is for me like really the first achievement. And then in my process, when I start building a collectible design object, I follow the same philosophy. So this is a piece of metal I found like maybe 25 of this piece of metal. It was hanging on the bank, on the ceiling. It's from Christophe Gevers. I don't know if you know this interior designer from Belgium, quite famous. He designed a bank, and this is all the piece of metal hanging for the ceiling to cut the noise. And so they destroyed the building. So I try to get some piece of metal like this because I love the shape. And then, yeah, I collect some piece of wood. And with those pieces of wood, I create a shape of a feet. And then I make a coffee table. So this little process is exactly the way I'm working, the way I try to think when I'm doing like could be a table, could be a chair, could be a building, could be an hotel, could be a private house. So I'm following exactly all the time the same process. Sometimes in other ways I change the way of working, but I continue to start dreaming with what I'm doing. So it's about lateral thinking. I try to, when I work, start on a new project on my office with my collaborator, we are now 12. We try to never start by the beginning. We start by, we just designed an hotel like 2 years ago, a big project that I'm going to talk later. And I'm start designing the handle of the door. So it was the first thing I designed for this project. And everybody said, no, we need to do a lot of stuff first. And I like to start like this. And mixed grill is something I talk a lot when we make a presentation for the client, because I like to put everything I found on the grill and to try to cook something. So it's for that I talk a lot about mixed grill. So this is few objects that I'm doing. Is all the time limited edition object. So making with a piece of metal, piece of wax, piece of antiques sometimes, because the little bowl, it's a Japanese bowl from the 18th century. So, and I create like a series of 8 lamps with this one. This is a table. In fact, the picture is not so good, but the top of the table coming from a nightclub is brass. And it was on the wall of the nightclub, so we use all the brass to build table. I built 5 tables like this. This is a lamp made with all the little lamp used by musicians. So when you a musician, there is little lamp to put on the chevalet, and I changed the way to use them to build like a little sculpture and a sculpture of light. My process is more like automatic writing because I never know where I'm going. So I try to be super free when I create. So I try to follow just my inspiration. I'm super instinctive. So in the office, for example, when we start designing a house or a hotel, there is no catalog. No catalog for nothing. There is no brand. We only work with other designer, creative people, artists, but there is nothing coming from a brand because we try to. I prefer to give the chance to collaborate with young creators, with artists to create a project. This is a project we designed for. It's a winery in the south of France. So it's I create this building like a big sculpture, in fact, and. It's really like a kid making a hut, and I never changed. And so I put all the building was covered with cork, rough cork, and to support the building is like a tree, but in concrete. Yes, and believe in poetry of collision because I try to put pieces together that they're not supposed to be together. So I like to create like a shock that you can mix things that they're not supposed to be mixed. And it's really something that I love to do because it creates an accident. And of course, it's never perfect as us. And then it creates more emotion when you see it, when you touch it. For example, this is a bathroom we create for a project in London. And the floor is coming from the same nightclub that I told before, that we used the wall, and the floor was, it was the dance floor of the nightclub. It was made with super thick glass, like 2 centimeters, with underneath gold leaf. So we use it to create like some walls. This is a hotel in Brussels, the Jam Hotel. I started with the Jam Hotel a few years ago, and I experiment a lot of stuff inside this hotel. So I create sculptures with concrete. It's piece of motorbikes that I put together. This is a picture that you can close up about. This is a seat, quite funny also. It's made with, in fact, in Belgium there is a wood, not a little wood. It's a big forest. Called Arboretum, and in this forest there is a lot of big, very nice tree bring by the King Leopold, and there is a huge sequoia. This sequoia falling one day with a storm, and then they use the sequoia to do I don't know what, but at the end it's still the I don't know the name of the part of the tree on the floor on the hut is like yes, the woods, and they just leave the woods. So I take the woods, I reuse them, and I built these chairs, make with those woods, and I make the cushion with the piece of fabrics I found. I add a lamp, it's an Olivetti lamp from the 60s, so I really try to create something different, something special, and I add gold leaf on it. So this is a hotel, also the Jam Hotel in Brussels. Also we create the table, the chairs, the lamp, everything. We try to invent new stuff when we create project. Always disruptive scenario that I like to cut my idea, we start with a new idea, fresh stuff that we try to be, in fact, in a brainstorm during the whole project. I never stop the brainstorm. I like with my team to be aware that we can reinvent everything in the project, even if it's not the time, even if the planning is not good for that, but I like to rethink. If there is an intuition about rethink something, let's do. This is other object I made with an old car, so it's like a meeting room. I like also to be like a little bit. I like to destroy a little bit antiques also because I like to create new energy with that. So it's an old tapestry, 2 meters on 2 meters, and I create a dragon. I want it with leftover fabrics. This picture means that you see the little piece of wood for the doors. In fact, I reuse more than 100 cubic square meters coming from a workshop working with exotic wood. I never work with exotic wood, and this workshop for 55 years import exotic wood in Belgium. And then in this workshop there is a huge amount of little piece of wood like this used between every slabs of wood. And then it was Iroko, teak, wonderful wood. And it was sold just for burn. And I take everything, I put 4 containers in my garden. My wife was not so happy because it take all the space. And then we reuse those little piece of wood to build doors, to build tables, furnitures, a lot of stuff. We make also facade from a building with that. So it was something that I want to save, in fact, because I think, okay, it's a pity that this kind of wood cannot just finish in the fire. This is also a table that I built a few elements of this one. It looks like a piece of puzzle, and in fact it's not, because in fact I think I don't like puzzle, but because there is no piece they can fit together, and then it's made with element from exhaust pipe from a car, and the top is made with leather with engravement with gold. And I collaborate with a person who made that for books. And in fact, I love this person, and I bring him to try to create something different. So now we collaborate on the project, and he's super happy because it's an old person, like he has now maybe 82, and his knowledge is wonderful. But it's only work for antique shops and for museum, and it's the first time he collaborates for more contemporary creation. So it gives me a lot of energy to have meeting with him. And this is also another example of the disruptive scenario, because now you see all the straps are coming from a factory making straps to hanging big weight with a crane. And in fact, at one moment, there is an obsolescence with this product, because if they have maybe more than 10 years, even they never use, you cannot use them, because it's too late, because it's built with a lot of security process, and so at the end they throw everything away. So and I collaborated with this company to reuse all those straps to create this crazy transat with leftover of stone that I cut, and it's funny because all the weight that could be, in fact, inside those straps, it's huge, because the orange one could drag maybe 5 tons, the blue one is 4 tons, and so and so. So it's super resistant. So this is like a manifesto about my work. It's something we did with my team, and to just find a way to create something during the holiday, and it's part of a tree falling in close to my workshop, and I see the shape of a motorbike, and I say, okay, let's build something. And I know a friend, he has an old BMW, but everything was broken, only the engine was good, and so we start building together a motorbike with a tree, and in fact you can drive with it. It's functional, and it's really the fact that you can put things together, and at the end it could fit. The same with this sofa. It's also really a disruptive scenario, automatic writing, because when I start this one, I exhibit in Milan 2 years ago. I start during the night with just one piece of a pipe, and I say, maybe I can do like a shape of an arm, and then I start building everything. So really, like I never make a sketch about this kind of creation. Same for this one. I mix piece of plexiglass. The little chandelier is a very famous designer from Sweden also, and I just cut them, weld them together to make the feet, because it was not the good size. I don't know, an example. Inside this one, in fact, it is the seat of my grandmother, and then I cover it with a white fabrics that you can use to clean the floor. So I create this kind of, it's like an homage to my grandfather. This one also is made with leftover of metal. And about that, it's really the way I'm working to make project. It's like playing like a kid to sketch first the head, and then you give to your friend, he design the body, and then after the other one make another part. So I like to mix everything together, and I'm never afraid about what is going on, because I'm trust if I bring different people to work together, I'm pretty sure that something interesting coming out. And about that, it's really my life every day, that I love to collect leftover of metal, of stone. Like on the right side, there is a lot of old stone that you can find behind the marble shop. Behind every workshop, in fact, there is something interesting. So I stop, I call the person, I try to see if there is something interesting to use. And for example, we just finished an hotel in Lisbon, and we use like tons of marble like this to make all the floor. This is another pictures of the winery in the south of France. I try to make sculptures all the time, because even when I design building, I like when it's looking like not a building, in fact. This is some word that I just drop because it's part of. And also when we arrive on some project, I love to keep some part of the wall intact. For example, this wall was on an office project in Brussels, and the workers just tried to make some tests with the painting. And in fact, I keep it because I do that all the time. I like when for me, it says a lot, so we just frame it, and it's like a painting. So I'm going to talk a bit about Zaventem Atelier. So Zaventem Atelier is a project that we start now 5 years ago. We find an old factory close to Brussels, and it was a paper mill. And I decided to develop something quite crazy to bring together creative people. It's not a new idea. There is a lot like this all around the world. But with this one, we really create a board of curator. So the idea that to push collectible design in a super high level. So there is a board of 8 people, and we took time to fill the building with really the people that fit with the project, that could fit with the energy, that could fit with the quality of their work. And there is emerging talent, there is a confined talent, there is like now we are 35 workshops involved in this project. So it's really became a huge creative family. And the idea with Zaventem Atelier is really to push the limit of creation and not to be alone in your workshop. It's Zaventem Atelier, it's like an accelerator of talent, because as soon you are inside, you are connected with a lot of other workshops, you learn a lot together. So also when the press is coming, you have like a lot of visibility, and also we collaborate together for project. I'm gonna talk about the project later, but we exhibit together, so we go to Milan together. Last 2 years ago, we did Baranzate. We find an old factory in Milan. We go all together to exhibit there. We're going to do the same this year too. So Zaventem Atelier is really a space for creator, for thinking, for producing. So it's really something different. And we try to bring this energy till big project, because it's not something with it's not like a collective, because a collective there is like more dogma that you need to follow. There is no dogma, because there is like a 35 workshops of everybody doing different things. They work with salt, with metal, with wood, with leather, with glass. So everybody making different type of object, type of creation. But at the end, everybody is on the same light about creating something unique. So, and for that, this place working super well, and then we create big project together. And when we create project, we just invite people to collaborate or not, because we just put the project on the table, say, okay, who want to participate? And sometimes everybody participates, sometimes there is just few of them. Same with the exhibition we did together, so we try to be super open to everything. It's really a land of freedom. And at Zaventem Atelier, we are super aware also about what we do with our leftover, because some of us working with leftover, but of course there is leftover from our leftover. So what we do, we create like a shape of a little stool, again a stool, and then we smashed all our leftover of wood, of metal, of glass, of ceramics, and we put them inside this little stool. And it's really like the signature of Zaventem Atelier is called the blend stool. And so there is a white one, there is a black one, and this year there's going to be a green one. So we try to continue this process, and we produce every month like maybe 5, 10 blend stool. And when people visit us, they can have it, they can buy it, because we just sold it for the cost it represents to produce the stool. So this is the idea, to have like it's a kind of a business card, in fact. So everybody is inside this little stool. And never stop reused. This is my way of working, of course. This is some project that we did. This is a big food market in Brussels. A co-working space in Brussels too. We use the leftover of the cork that I use in the winery. This is a little bar that we did in Brussels, a Japanese bar. In fact, you can. I was back from Japan, and then my client of the Jam Hotel asked me to do something in the basement. I said, okay, let's do a bath, a space to can have a bath, and you can have some drink inside your bath. So and so we create this place called Atsokan, only made with leftover food. And so you can have a bath, and you can have a drink, you can have some food, you can be alone, or you took the curtain, you can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people. So it's super funny. Co-living, it's a project I started now 7 years ago with 3 friends. So it's also the fact to try to do something different with co-housing, with we use everything we can find inside the project. So, for example, in these pictures, we find old walls that we want to keep a little bit as displays. We find sometimes some piece of wardrobe doors that we use to make the cabinet. So it's really about we use everything to build something differently. And then I'm going to talk about 2 last projects that we just finished. One is the Jam Hotel. It's in Lisbon. And this project is it's mixed everything I like. I mean, it's mixing reuse of material and also mixing tenant. Because now it's a little bit the new way that we try to collaborate. For this project, we find like maybe 12 designers around the project to collaborate with us in the creation of the Jam Hotel. And then it creates also a lot of energy, because as soon we put all these creative people around the table, because they are local, they are living maybe 25 minutes for the project, is bringing a lot of knowledge, a lot of people around us, a lot of new way to find old materials. And also the way to make this was to have a maximum of elements removable. So it's mean in the room, mainly, I'm going to show you. This is cork that I use also. We work with raw earth that we use to make all the furniture there. And in the room, there is a big forest close to Lisbon that was burned. And so all the trees are totally killed. And they are also sold for just to use as a fire, wood fire. So we definitely want to use those wood, even if there is some strange color inside. But we cut everything to make like the shape of a beam. And in the room, everything could be used to do something else. So also on the wall, you have the Viroc. It's produced and made in Portugal. The floor is made with cork from Portugal. For the bed head, we work with a young company called Goma. They mix leftover of cork and leftover of caoutchouc. So we try to collaborate a lot with people around us to create this project. And to have a lot of fun also, because we create this ping pong table that, in fact, when you arrive on the bar, the ping pong table, it's like a big puzzle. Everything is hanging on the wall, and you need to follow a little, some little instruction to build first your ping pong table, and then you can play. And then the last project that we've been occupied for 2 years and a half, it's the Mix Hotel. It's a crazy building close to Brussels. Functionalist building from 1969, totally fully with curtain steel and glass. And then when we won the competition for this project, this was a big challenge because it's about 25,000 square meters. So how can we build something with leftover, with materials on 25,000 square meters? So it was crazy. So when I saw the building, I said, okay, it's huge, it's crazy, so we're going to try to bring something different. And so this building became the flagship for all the Belgian designers. So in fact, we invite everybody from Zaventem Atelier to collaborate, and 27 other designers for Belgium, also maybe 55 kilometers around the project. So, and we create the frame, we design the project, the technical, the look and feel of everything, and then we propose to all the designers to collaborate with us. We say, okay, we need tables, we need lamps, what do you think? And then we involve them in the project in total freedom. And it's create like something quite crazy because our client believe me in the fact that I think just, okay, trust me, we're gonna stay in the budget, but I'm not going to show you anything because till the end, we're still working on prototype. Everything is a big prototype because nothing is coming from a catalog. So everything was created. We took 2 years to build this project. And so it was a crazy adventure. And it became like a success because everybody was super happy to participate. The press was there also to talk about the project, and there is a huge energy making everything. For example, this is maybe the only thing that I work with leftover because I invite 3 ladies from a young company called Papier Boulette, and they work with papier mâché. And we create the shape that you can see on the beam, and behind this shape there is in fact meeting rooms, and I asked her to create like a bas-relief on this, and they use all the cardboard that we use on the project. So I make a call with all the electricians, the plumbers, they bring all the leftover of the cardboard, there is a huge pile, and during 4 weeks they build this. So and everything is the same story, but I can talk a lot about everything, so there is too much to say on this project. So, but it was a crazy adventure because every single thing you can see, it's a little inside project all the time. So, and also we try to celebrate the building. It's a functionalist, brutalist building, so we try to create big sculpture inside. For example, there is the marble existing, the concrete was existing, but the space behind with the tile is in fact the kitchen, and I tried to build it like a big sculpture inside the bâtiment. And voilà, same as this in the restaurant, in the pool, and there is a big food market also. And the idea also to convince my client is to tell him that now if you follow my idea, I'm going to create for you the biggest collection of collectible design for our hotel, because it's quite unique to have like a catalog. We prepare a book about that, and it's going to be a catalog of 355 pages about creation only for this hotel. And I think it's something quite unique. It's a huge communication tool. And also, I told him, yes, you're going to invest in young designer, And maybe with the time, and maybe in 35 years, you can make a big sale about that. It's not like something that you can just throw away if it's broken. It's not the point. And also, we try to follow something super pure and honest, and every workshop involved work indirect for my client. It means that there is no involving of money between the workshops and the client. It's super pure, super honest. I try to be super clean with that, because otherwise this kind of project cannot work, because it's not about working with catalog and everybody take a little bit of commission at the end, and then at the end the client pay a lot. For this kind of project, I want it super light. So every workshop invoicing the client at a good price, and so with this we can do a lot, and the workshop receive the money, because otherwise it's not like this. So we really succeed to do that. It was crazy, because we spent so much time to organize everything, but at the end I'm super happy. And voila. I told too much, huh?
No, it was perfect. No, thank you, Lionel. That was an amazing presentation and really generous in your process. There is something of your work I would like to have seen as a student many years ago, because you definitely don't have an orthodox way to design. No, in your case, design becomes more of a gesture, because normally what you are taught in the school is to start from the sketch, to make mood boards and things we talked before coming here, that you don't do anything of that, no? And I think there is something precious to say about it, because here in this contest we are surrounded by teachers of design, probably. Most of these people is related to education. And I think there is something important to be mentioned of your work, which is what would you miss if you were to make a planning and a sketch of your work, because I think it couldn't happen in the way it is, right? So my question is, how would you feel if you were to make sketches of your projects before making them?
Yeah, because you know my way of working, so I'm starting sketching all the time, because when I'm starting working in the workshop, also before, I was sketching. But at the end, I think I'm good to convince people to believe in the dream I have in my head. And it's going even more, because now we're working a lot with 3D rendering and perspective and everything. But at the office, I try to learn to my team to not use too much 3D, because otherwise it kills a little bit the poetry of. I prefer to talk about a project with some sketches, to explain to the client what's going on, to show him some pictures that inspire me. It could be a piece of art, it could be a lot. I try to tell him a story. I love to talk about storytelling. I love to talk about scenario when I explain a project to a client. I tell him a little fantasy, a little conte. So, and then at the end, of course, we show some real plan. But first, I try to convince him to bring him in the land. And yes, for that, I don't know if I go to school before or what's going on, because my life is like this now. But but I think also when I have young people coming to my workshop, so I try to bring them in another way of working. So it's more something more free. So and we don't care about the fact that now when you make a project, you need to start with this, and then to make the presentation. Sometimes when I make a presentation with a client, last time we just bring them to an exhibition first, and then my client was, "Where's the presentation?" "Yes, wait. First we see the exhibition, and then you can understand, and we're gonna have a drink, and then we make the thing in the other way." So, and also we love to bring. I love to bring that also, to bring more humor, to be relaxed, because we're not gonna save people. We're just there to invent something for a client, to make a restaurant, a project. So we just supposed to have fun and to be aware about the poetry. So it's just simple.
So this also makes you to have a more close relationship perhaps with the clients even, because you have to, in a way, you have to convince them. They trust in you to do what they want, but they don't really know what it's going to look like. So that takes an extra step of building upon this idea of they participating on the process as well. No, that, like you said, I bring them to an exhibition and I make them to believe in the dream. So I think that's quite interesting. What I also find really interesting from your practice is also your philosophy of also decentralizing so many decisions. No, when you bring to the team also other creators, no, like the people from. I'm going to mistake the name again, so I'm not going to say it, from the atelier, but also the people from the locality. No, you mentioned something about when you also work with your team, but with people that is local to the place you are working at. How does it work for you? How do you find these people when you start a project somewhere else?
I think as a creative, we're supposed to be aware about what's happened, and so yes, I try to go a lot to the exhibition of some schools, art school, and also I love to push the door of workshops. In fact, just to see. And now with Instagram, it's super easy to be in contact with a lot of creative people. So it's happened to me like every day. I receive messages, I send messages to persons, so I try to be in contact with them and we try to collaborate. And last time, a nice story about that is for the Mix Hotel. There is a super young guy coming to the workshop and with a box. And then it was like 23. And he was super nervous, and say, okay, I want to talk to Lionel Jadot, and say, yeah, it's me. And because the place in Zaventem is quite big, and I was just in the Grand Hall, in the middle of the Grand Hall, walking on, I don't know why. And so he arrived, I was just on the floor burning a piece of wood, and say, it's me. Yes, okay, I want to show you something. I said, yes, okay, show me. So he opened the box, and inside the box there is a super nice table in aluminium, made with rivet. And he explained me all his story. In fact, his father is working for the, how you say that, a carrosserie body shop for cars. And he was working in his body shop, and he has some idea for creation a table, to create a table, a coffee table. And the table is just wonderful. And something I never see like this. And I say, okay, but come to my office. We go to the office and present him to the team and say, okay, this is Arthur. And Arthur make a wonderful table, and we're gonna use this table for the restaurant of the Mix. And the guy was, what? What are you saying? Yes, I love your table. We're gonna use the table. So could you make it a little bit bigger? And say, and the guy was crazy. He just arrived like this, and he leave my workshop with an order of 35 tables. So it was, I love this kind of meeting because he tried to push the door, as I do this sometimes, but it was the other way this time. So and so he started his company, and now I think he gonna become super famous because he exhibits at the Pad in London. So it really started to go super fast. And it's what I explained, because this kind of project as the Mix, for example, when we bring so much young people together for a big project, and also little workshop, is a chance for them to try to understand the process to produce more than just one piece. So everybody understands so much in this kind of project, and it's also something I'm super happy, and I exchange with my client. You see, your money was used to develop workshops. It's not about just buying stuff, but it's money help people to develop their workshop, their knowledge. They try to become better, and also they learn a lot. So it's just not something ordered from a catalog, and then you order something from a catalog coming from China, driving all the way on a boat, arriving in Belgium. After 1 month or 2 months of 1 year is broken, you need to put it away in Belgium, and then you need to reorder another chest. In this case, it's different. You expend the money locally in young workshops, and if there is a problem, the guy is coming and then he fixes it. So it's easy. So it's for that, the whole process, there is a lot of meaning in that.
I love that. And I love also how we arrange, because I ask you something really bad and you extend the question to in a really nice way. Also, because you were mentioning you don't teach, no? And this is one of the things that many designers, me myself as well, no? Like we end up teaching at some point, or we pass through teaching at some point. And what I like about you is also that you also never been taught. Like you taught yourself, and it was a really natural process where you learn how to deal with things, no? And things in a really local way, no? You found a material and you will assemble to another and then create a piece out of it. And I think that's also a way that goes out against standardization, which is normally what you learn at school. Like you tend to use materials that are already existing, that are standardized, and that you can replicate your thing. In your case, the pieces are impossible to replicate, and especially within this environmental context as we live in, I think that's a good approach to it. Going back to the thing that you never taught, and having this on the table, if you were to teach about the design process, how would that be? How would you make a class of that?
It's a good question, because some school in Belgium asked me to do that, but I would love to do that, but I try to, if I do that one day, I will have the time to do it. And maybe I don't like to be in the classes, so because I think the best for me, I feel it when I have interns with me for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I bring them all around our project, and I think they learn more than just be in the class. And so, because I learn like this, what I'm doing when there is a super young intern on the project, I bring them to a meeting, and then to find a new project to work with, and I ask them directly to work on a presentation. And so they work, and then 1 week after, the client is coming and say, okay, no, you can make the presentation. And say, what? Right now? Yes, the client is there, we need to do the presentation. And so I give them a lot of confidence directly. So sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not working, but I learn like this. So because, it's push the limit of everybody. And then, and I had a lot of wonderful surprise, because when we do that, after I control, I'll be there to discuss with them, but I like to give them a lot of trust, even if they are just intern for 2-3 months, but they learn so much that just be behind. So I put them totally in front, and sometimes it's not working because they are super stressed and they prefer to not go, but when it's working super well. So voila, my way of teaching.
That's awesome. I was being warned by Gloria of our time constraints, and I don't know if there is times for some questions. Yes, is anyone that would like to make a question now?
Hi, sorry for my English, but I have a question. How is your creative process using leftovers? You use all of them, or you like using part of them, make some design then, and I don't know, cut something, or because I have a project that I work with leftovers, and for me, my process was look for what I have and design with this. So I would like to know how it is for you.
Okay, but depends in fact. For example, I'm working on a series of chairs and table made with leftover of macadam. It's macadam that I found on the street when they dismantle the street, and we use the macadam when it's broken, and I built chairs and table. But I try to not cut the element I found. I try just to mix them and to see, okay, this shape is nice. And then after I build all the metal structures behind. But sometimes also I like to cut the material. Sometimes if I work with metal or with wood, I just made a chair with lead. It was old lead that stays outside for like maybe 25 years. So it's and I smash it, I cut it, I burn it. So I try to change the shape. So it depends the material you use. So it's really it depends also the project. So sometimes I like to just work like a collagist to put things together, and then sometimes I like to work like to have the elements involved together. So if they can maybe to give the idea that maybe they grow together. So they're just mixed together. So it's really something that I never know because my work in the collectible design is more like a sculptures, and sometimes it's super precise, super clean, and but at one moment I find it too clean, so I destroy a bit. So like this, and sometimes it's super easy and super rough, and I like to leave it like this. So I never know. In fact, it's really instinctive.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we need to wrap up, but before wrapping up, I would like to thank Wallonie Bruxelles Design and Mode for the presence of Lionel. I would like to thank Lionel for being here and the DIMAT to making this also possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.